drones and more than a dozen missiles rained down on the Ukrainian capital, killing 2 people in a second massive airstrike on Ukraine in 2 days. This comes as Kyiv seeks critical aid from its partner at a meeting in Rome. As per reports, 19 people were wounded in the attack and damage has been reported in nearly every district of Kyiv. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the assault involved around 400 drones and 18 missiles, primarily targeting the capital. Let's listen in to how the residents are reacting to the prevailing situation. Apologies, we seem to have had some technical issues there. However, we move on. In other news, the security service of Ukraine has said that one of its members has been killed in central Kyiv. As per an AFP report, a criminal investigation has been launched into the murder. We're now joined by Professor Veselin Popovsky, who is a professor and vice dean of Jindal Global Law School. Professor, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. This comes 24 hours after the largest barrage of drones in the war, another significant drone strike and missile strike from Moscow over to the Ukrainian capital this time. However, in positivity, in Ukraine's stance, we have the resumption of aid from Washington, military aid from Washington. How important of a time is this for Kyiv, especially as we see Russia escalating its strikes over the border?
Yes, Joshua, I think the two are very connected. More strikes on Kyiv and other cities in Ukraine will mean more support, including military for Ukraine. So no surprise, Russia has its last options left to massively use drone attacks against cities because they cannot do much on the battlefield. There is very little Russia can achieve in Donetsk and the rest of the front lines. All they want to somehow do is to inflict civilian damage in big cities. And that's what they do. It's kind of a last resort, last hopes for Putin to survive. But we see the unification of the European countries and the change in position by Trump administration, offering more Patriots rockets, more air defense systems to support Ukraine. So the two are connected. More Russia does this, more support will go to Ukraine to defend its civilians, its cities, and also to counterbalance the Russian attack on the battlefield.
Professor Popovsky, why do you think that, especially after Putin is trying to supposedly move peace talks forward, in his words, why is Russia stepping up on these big airstrikes at this time right now?
Again, I would like to connect the two, although they looks very paradoxical. On one hand, the Russian diplomacy is saying they're happy for a third round of negotiation in Istanbul, Turkey, and on another hand, the military continue with deadly strikes on civilians. And this has been the case for the last 5-6 months already. It's a game. Russia tries to play a game. They want to look constructive and talking diplomacy and a round of negotiation in Istanbul, and at the same time their military do exactly the opposite, which basically reduces significantly any hopes that the peace negotiation in Istanbul will produce much. This is a game, everybody already understands it. It's a very cruel and hypocritical game by Vladimir Putin, and he is losing his allies. There is not much left for Putin. Even countries in the global south are distancing themselves, Brazil, other countries. I hope India one day also will distance itself from Putin, and he will be left with North Korea and Iran as the only two supporters.
Pre-